cool. I mean, the Allure or whatever it is.
Allo, A-L-L-O.
Okay, that's like just a messaging app or something, right?
Yeah, but there's more to it, right? So what happens in here, it's actually kind of neat to see. Allo is this, and I just restarted recording.
Okay, good.
It has, so Google I/O was a 3-day event, and it's for developers, and they announced a lot of new concepts and things that are coming up in the near future. And there was one predominant theme throughout the whole conference, and it was basically Google Assistant. And this virtual assistant is going to be pretty much in everything, right? So Google Allo, which is going to be a new messaging platform, it's actually, I think it's going to be pretty slick. It's going to be nice. It's going to have some neat functionality to it where me and you could chat. And maybe I had a trip coming out to Arizona, into the Phoenix area, and I wanted to eat somewhere. Well, we could talk about that. And then while we're talking about that, the thing would literally suggest restaurants in the area to go to, and we could send ones back and forth and kind of say, oh, that one looks good. Let's go do that one, right? It's going to have an inherent assistance in place where we can actually it'll start paying attention to what we're writing and trying to give us solutions for what we're writing. If we're asking for questions like where to eat or where's the nearest hospital, or, whatever it may be, it's going to start providing assistance. So, Facebook started adding bots, right? But those bots, to be honest with you, are games and they're fun, but they're useless as far as productivity goes.
Right.
Google's taking a different approach where they're not saying we're not going to let people create bots, but we're going to add stuff in there that are going to make life easier, right? So we're going to start recognizing what's going on and start adding tools for you in there. And they're bots. That's all it is. They're just paying attention to what we're writing. People may be scared and may be freaked out about it.
So they
are paying attention.
Like, Alexa on the go. Because Alexa can kind of, right?
Yeah, kind of. I would say it's similar. Definitely, it's going to be considered kind of a competitor. Actually, I would say the competitor to Alexa or to the Echo is actually a tool called Google Home. It's going to be a very similar product. It's going to be a cylinder device. It's going to be smaller. A cylinder device. It's going to be. Yeah. And that's going to be the same thing. It's going to have assist. It's going to do a lot of things. I think it's going to be neat. And it goes back to what you've been saying several times, and that's the fact that by doing this, one of the things that you're running into is it is transforming on how people are going to look at buying and purchasing homes, because you're going to need to have some of this integrated technology in there. Whether the technology travels with you from home to home, you're going to have some of this stuff integrated.
Yeah, I mean, internet speed's got to get up there. Who were we talking to? Was it last week or whatever? The guy in Taiwan?
Yeah.
His internet speed was ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, we're still dealing with dial-up. I mean, we got pretty fast internet, but I was talking to somebody else too, and they were in England actually, and her internet speed is very, very fast as well. Now we have pockets here in the United States that the internet speed is fast, but not everywhere. And even in metropolitan areas, it's even pockety kind of deal. So having internet speed, I think, is going to be one of those things that people are going to ask for. What's your internet speed before they buy a house? Especially with all this new technology coming out and pulling from your internet. That Ring. I have the Ring doorbell.
Yep.
And I love that thing. However, it's not. It pulls on my internet. It's a little bit delayed because my internet speed isn't as fast as I would like to have it where at my home. So when somebody rings the bell, it takes about 10 or 15 seconds before it actually rings on my phone. So it's not instantaneous.
Right. Well, but it's not bad though, right?
It can be. I mean, sometimes, like if somebody comes up, like especially like the UPS guy, they'll run up, drop off, ring the doorbell, take off, and they're pulling away on the street, and my doorbell is just ringing. So it can be delayed quite a bit. I've had a couple instances where somebody will ring or stand at the doorbell or stand at the door, and it won't notify me that somebody's standing there.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I haven't heard those things.
Now, I think it's my internet speed.
Well, it probably is not internet speed, because I think you probably at home got pretty good internet speed. But I think it has more to do with not internet, but probably has to do with range and connectivity throughout the house.
I put one of those
repeaters.
Yeah, repeaters on an outlet that's right inside the front door.
Yeah, but sometimes I run into that because, again, what all a repeater is doing is now you're bouncing that thing. They're good, right? They expand the range of the home, but the problem with repeaters is you're adding more levels of complexity to it, right? So you take a Wi-Fi router, you add a repeater in there. Not only are you expanding the reach, but what you're doing in here is bouncing it twice. So now that your Ring doorbell has to go through that before it comes out, I'm going to bet you that's part of the delay, actually.
My router's it's kind of far away from the front door.
No, and I get that. It's a challenge, right? And there's not a really good way of handling that. Really, the best way of handling it is having more or less like a 2-router system in the house where they both kind of communicate at the same time to one another.
Yeah.
Repeaters work. They're nice. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to bet you that's where the problem's running from.
Can I put 2 routers in a house?
You want to hire somebody to do this, because even I'm not really good with doing this. But yes, you can buy what are called dual band routers, and you can basically set them up where they'll have basically whole access to the house and run everything from there.
Because I've called my internet provider and they said, well, we've got, the internet speed going to the house, but we're not responsible for the internet speed once it enters the house.
Right.
And they're saying that I have a nick in a wire or something like that somewhere.
You may have that too. I mean, there's always possibilities. For instance, not too long ago, wires around here had to be placed because there was chipmunks or some sort of critter eating the cable on the outside, and we were getting horrible issues.
Yeah. So I don't know. And they're like, well, we'll run it on the outside. I don't want a cable running tacked in my side of my house, because it's got to go around the house into my office from where it enters into the house. So it's kind of a far away. It's not just a poking a hole right where it meets the house kind of thing. So
right. No, it's an issue. It's a struggle that way for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think internet speed. I know on my next house, I'm going to be. It wasn't that long ago, man. I was going into a house, checking my cell phone to see what kind of bandwidth I'd have on my cell phone to see if I get reception in a house from my cell phone.
Right, and if you think about this, right, when you do home inspections, they look at the electrical box, but they don't go out and do inspections on the cable boxes or the cables coming in and out. They don't do that stuff.
No.
I think that's going to change, because that's going to be important for a lot of people. They don't want to come out there and have a $250, $350 bill when they come into the house, because they need to have internet access to a degree they want it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. 100%. I'll be checking it for sure. My next house, but hopefully I won't be buying another house. My wife wants to move. I don't. I'm getting too, and not that I'm old or anything like that. I'm in my mid 40s, but man, moving sucks.
Yeah, moving's not fun. That's the worst part of anything.
Yeah.
If you get that done, it makes life easier, though.
So talk to me about the other one too. You mentioned Google Allure or whatever it is.
So it's Duo. They'll call it a FaceTime competitor, and sure, there is a little bit of a FaceTime competition to it. It's a video chat 2-way, kind of like we're doing right now, except for it'd be through the phones. I really wish personally they would have just attached it to the Messenger app. I just would have liked it to be all in one, but that's where every product's going these days. Everything's separated out into its own entity. I'm not a big fan of that strategy, but it is what it is. But the nice thing about this one versus any other application that's out there is they give you kind of like a preview button. So if you're calling, or if I am calling,
right,
I can do something stupid, or maybe take a picture of my hat, or maybe show the screen because I want to talk to you about, the Warriors game last night. So maybe I have, the highlight of Curry shooting a mile-long shot or something.
Right.
And when you see it, okay, I know it's Justin. He wants to gloat, whatever like that, I'll answer. Right. So it's a nice little preview, because, the honest answer is FaceTime. Statistics say that FaceTime doesn't really get used a lot because people turn it off. And I think that's where Duo's going with it, because they want to try to encourage that stuff, so people will have less likely ability to say no.
Yeah. Well, I've used Google Hangouts.
It's really not any different. I don't know what they're doing with Hangouts. I'm actually kind of concerned about that, because I still love Hangouts. I love the Hangouts on air. I love doing some of the video chats from Hangouts. If I could find a better way of doing this is where I'd be doing Hangouts from.
Yeah.
Or our conversations from is from Hangouts. But so I am concerned about that, because you could essentially do a Google chat from there. But the honest answer is Google Hangouts chat, peer-to-peer chats have never been a real strong solution. Done good for group chats, but peer-to-peer has been horrible.
I did it. My wife has an iPhone, and I when she go on traveling or whatever, I do Google Hangouts, but it was kind of clunky for her because of the iPhone. She FaceTime. My son has an iPhone, and so they would FaceTime, no problem. But the Google iPhone integration was a little bit clunky for her, so she just didn't do it. She's like, "I'll just call you,"
right?
And she would just call.
No, and that's the problem, and that is the part that I'm worried about with the Duo. But this is going to be more like a FaceTime strategy. It's going to be more of a peer-to-peer type conversation. Yeah. So hopefully that will eliminate a lot of those concerns. And again, it's going to be platform agnostic, so it's not really going to care. You're going to be able to have it on your Apple as quick as you're going to have it on your phone. So there was not much in the Google I/O atmosphere that came out. I thought those things were neat. I really thought the Google Home was a huge product. I thought that was the big one. I thought that one's gonna could really change the atmosphere of a home. And those were probably I think to me from a real estate perspective are big, right? Because if you use those tools effectively, talk about having a conversation to your clients at a different level.
Think about this, man, and this is just coming to my head or whatever. But think about, do you think it'd be too much? Like I have the Alexa, right? Mm-hmm. I like. My wife thinks it's creepy because she thinks that it's listening to our conversations 24/7, and maybe it is, right? I really don't care, but she thinks it's a little crazy. But I'm thinking, what if I took that Alexa or Google, whatever they call it, Cube or whatever they're going to call it, and you go to an open house and you plug that in, you play some music, and you have that thing playing and telling about the house while people are walking through the house. Is that too much?
Oh, I don't think it's too much. I mean, that
thing's pretty small. You can take that thing anywhere. It's not like a big lug of a briefcase you got to carry around. You can put that, if you're a woman, in your purse, or you're a guy.
Right. You're talking the little puck one, not the Alexa itself.
Yeah.
No, I think you could. The only thing is what I'm not sure about is none of those are 4G. So you'd always have to have your phone hooked up to it or something like that, which is not the end of the world, not a big deal. The nice thing about these things now is when you have it out, it's at the home and they're at Wi-Fi. And the reason they created the puck or the smaller versions is maybe you wanted to be outside with it and have a speaker out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's an idea. I don't think it's too much. Will some people, you just got done saying your wife, kind of is a little concerned by it. I do think you'll have a few people concerned by it, but I think so many people, especially the millennial generation, folks like that, they're not going to sweat. They're not even going to think twice about it. To be honest with you, it'll be nice background noise, and they may not even pay attention to what we're saying on screen, right? Because they're just.
I mean, I use my Alexa, when I'm cooking steaks, because I have it on, one side for 5 minutes. Hey, Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes. Starting timer now, and then it's like perfect, man. Especially when you're watching TV, because you can kind of get involved in the TV or whatever, and you lose track of time, and you end up burning a steak or something. So I love the Alexa app or Alexa.
No, I think it's good. And Google had to get in this. Google should have been this a long time ago. They're the ones that perfected this a long time ago.
The voice recognition was such a problem, right? Apple had such a problem with voice recognition. My Note, Samsung or whatever, and I don't know if that's Google voice recognition or who owns that, but it's really good.
Yeah, that's Google. Google created that.
Yeah, it's really good voice rec. I mean, I've even slurred my words on purpose to try to stump it, and it picks up on what I'm doing. It kind of puts it together, the sentence together, if you will.
Yeah, I've always laughed because every so often I'll catch myself in mid-thought and stop.
Yeah.
And transfer over. And sometimes it'll actually know what I'm correcting myself to.
Yeah, exactly, man. Heavy accents or something like that. It picks up on it. It's really pretty amazing. So, hey, Bill, how you doing? I haven't seen you on Blab lately. I'm sure you're probably feeling some of the frustrations that are out there. Let Bill in here, I guess.
I'm with Jonathan on the other side right now. I'm going to drop the link in. We saw you pop up. Jonathan hasn't got any search at all off of the show on Saturday morning.
Is he talking to us?
Yeah, Blab is really. It's been very difficult getting these shows.
We're just talking about Blab, thinking it is going to. I'm dropping in your link for Jonathan.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that.
Skype up here somewhere. Where did Skype go? Yeah, I'm talking right now.
To kind of finish your thought there, Bill. A lot of people are saying Blab's not going anywhere, but they're not supplying any support to it. But then I heard BMO or Bevo or whatever their mobile app that they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. That's not going anywhere either. That's fallen on. It's flatlining.
Jonathan and I were just talking about Blab, the same thing you're talking about right now. And Jonathan thought for sure it's been up for sale. And what's happening is now we just talked to support on Blab on his site. In fact, and what the support came right on and helped out, and they said they're having problems. His was stacked with a bunch of old shows and scheduled that have been replayed, that were stuck in scheduled, and they're not giving him any search at all for his show on Saturday morning. So,
so check out this link here. I'm going to put this link here, Bill.
I'm shutting down some site. I got like 10 zillion things down. I gave Jonathan the link. Hopefully it comes up.
All right. So check out this link here. Click on that link there for me, Bill. You may have to sign in. I don't know. Maybe not. This is something that Justin and I are kind of exploring here a little bit. Some people are kind of player hating the Spreecast thing.
Can you hear that?
I don't hear any. I hear you.
I can hear your sound. It's coming on. What is that?
It's Spreecast, it's Blab. It's basically Blab. And you know how there's a lot of people here on Blab saying, hey, if they could make it stable, I would pay for that service, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, it's already there. It's called Spreecast. You don't have to pay. You can do the free version if you want. We were kind of experimenting here, and we're looking at it. It actually has better features than Blab.
Yeah.
It's a lot more stable than Blab. The picture quality is better.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, I don't know, can you see it there, Bill?
Yeah, I'm watching. I muted the sound, but it is it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a little pixelated for Justin just because we're running two different things here at the same time. So we're kind of experimenting with it, but it has the chat room. It has questions. You can put links on it. The only thing it really doesn't have is the drop-ins, which we really don't use that much anyway.
So I'm still watching it right now, and I'm back with you, but I opened up at a different window. So what is that, a pre-recorded show right now in real time?
No, recording it live right now. I mean, I got both of them going at the same time.
But I only see one of you. I only see you.
Oh, you don't see me? Yeah, Justin's is
Justin is not coming through on the video on that one.
He's not? Okay. So I think he's because he's on Wi-Fi or something, but I see him on my end. I see him.
Justin, so how's the mortgage business?
Muted, buddy. Mortgage business is pretty good. Not bad.
My wife has finally got 2 closing next month.
What do you mean finally? I didn't know she was in the mortgage business.
No, broker homes.
I thought she was a realtor.
Well, yeah, homes. She's got 2 escrows.
Oh, gotcha.
It's been painful leaving the city after you're 50 years old.
Market's slowing up.
We left Modesto, California after 25 years of having an office in 2 subdivisions. I was vice mayor of the city. Came to Reno and reestablished. And I wanted to really just recruit agents, and she wanted to start her team herself. And it's been painful reestablishing.
You're in Reno now, right?
Yeah, that's where we lived for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Painful.
It's hard, especially in the real estate business. It is still a community kind of deal. It's hard to get established, no question about that.
We just did 3 episodes on the show. It's really handing this over to Jonathan, the podcast, on the real estate agent podcast.
Yeah.
And we just did 3 episodes on different things, but had Zillow, episode 1, 2, 3 on Zillow. And a lot of agents, she's a Chase, actually spent a lot of money on Zillow and some top producers. But I got into it. Until you set up all the free stuff and get everything in place, you should not buy into the Zillow impression.
I did a podcast on Zillow a year and a half ago or something like that. And it's kind of one of those things, hit and miss. Some agents wholeheartedly believe in it and get a lot of business from it. Vast majority of agents do not.
Mine is 31% ROI on average.
Yeah.
Really? But when you say 30%, is that a negative?
Yeah, negative 31.1% ROI in those type of portals when you're paying for them.
Oh yeah, and that's why they come to us as the lenders. Hey, will you pay for this? Will you?
Oh yeah, half of it. They want the lenders to pay half of it.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's kind of a. And didn't Justin the head honcho of Zillow? I don't know. I forget his name. Didn't he say he was going to raise the fees and fewer of the agents on Zillow?
Yeah, he's trying to market it, right? He's trying to sell a little differently, saying, look, he's going to raise, but you're going to get better leads. Yeah. Like there's only going to be like 2 of you instead of 5 of you.
Right.
You can't even figure out, though, like what products they really have. They have impressions as one. And what happened is my wife had 4 sites for cleaning up. We did something we normally never, ever do. she had this impact from her office that some of the people were having success, but in reality, I don't think they were or are. So we signed up for Zillow, but before you sign up for Zillow, you need to get the free play in place 100%. All your referrals, not your referrals, but your reviews, and just get everything in place. It's been very frustrating. We've got about $700 down in 2 months. We've got maybe 10 leads, and my wife has actually shown property to one of the leads, but they're buyer leads. I'd prefer to focus on the listings.
All you need is one to pay for that month. That's what they tell you.
No, one pays for the year, I guess, technically, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah. It doesn't pay for the year.
Not your time.
Yeah, no, it depends on how much you're paying.
We're paying
$360 there on the leads there on the side chat room there. From is it Learn to Solo? I guess. I don't really. For me, I'm not a realtor. I'm a lender, but I don't pay for leads. Every time I do that, it just doesn't seem to work out. Mailers and things like that, farming neighborhoods, that sort of thing. Some are having pretty good success with that. I'm a big proponent of putting out videos of what's trending right now. I can't tell you. I've gotten, just from my videos and YouTube and my podcasts and some of the things that I do, I get probably on average about 6 leads a year from that.
That's good.
Which is pretty good.
It's not leads. How much conversion?
I convert every single one of them.
Okay.
If they call me, it's closing. Because here's the thing. They already know me through the video. They already kind of know my personality. They know who I am, what I'm about, who I represent, how I operate. So it's already kind of like a warm lead transfer. So I've had pretty good success with that. That's what I do. I've kind of given up on. Now, I probably should do more mailers and should do, a little bit of each, be quite honest with you, and not focused on one thing. But, there's so much mail going out there. There's so much of everything else going out there that I'm trying to dare to be different, I guess.
Yeah, well, but it goes the same way. I just taught agents the other day, right? It's one of these things when you're doing this, you just got to know your stats, and you got to know your stats of your area, right? So when you look at this, if you send mailers out, be on point, be on target. If you're going to do it, make sure you're sending to people that are going to buy, right? Millennials are buyers. So find your renter pool that you're going to send leads to and get that from there. So you can send it that way. If you are looking for people that are selling homes, don't try to find people that have bought their home within the last 5 to 8 years, even though it's the average. People can't afford to sell their home. Look for the people that have been 20 plus. So you can find this data. This data is out there. You look at tax assessor sites, you can pull that information in a heartbeat, and you can pull that specifically. And the best thing about some of that stuff, now you can't pull assessor data from Facebook, but if you're talking internet stuff, I could actually say, I want to look for people that are making 90,000 plus or 90 to 120 in Fernando Valley in this area, just married, and I can market to them specifically because they are most likely within the next year going to want to buy a home.
Yeah.
Right. But I got to know the stats of Fernando Valley to make sure that people are actually buying in the areas I'm doing. So I could totally be on point and find out what's going on and create ads for nothing.
And I agree with that. I mean, I would do Facebook ads or something like. I've got a realtor right now doing Google AdWords. She's having great success with it. It's
a little more expensive. I like Facebook, but they both work.
Yeah, she's having great success with it. So those avenues to me are a lot more effective and a lot cheaper, I think, than for the same money. I think you get a more targeted audience like Justin.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you know me, Jason. I'm a tech guy too, so I like that stuff. But to me, the one thing I tell most people as far as lead generation, you got to go after the environment and what you're good at and what you're going to continuously do, because eventually there's going to be a lull.
Yeah.
And you got to fight through the lull. And if you don't like what you're doing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to quit fast.
Well, mailers too. I mean, mailers, you got to do it, especially if you're going to renters or something like that. You got to do that once a month. Right. And you may have that hit 6 times before you actually get something from it.
Well, yeah. One of the things I think are no brainer though is once you get out there from any perspective, but once you get out there, you also need to have retargeting. So on any website you have to have retargeting pixels. So that stuff now, if you're going out there, they're finding you all the time. They came once, now they can come back and find you. AdWorks is good for that. Our AdWorks rocks for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I've got a Pixel on my wife's site.
Do you? I love Pixel. I think that's a great solution too.
Yeah. But we used to spend $5,000 a month in marketing. And it worked out pretty well. We had a small team in California for 25 years brokers. And you have to have a system in place. You have to have a team. You have to work hard. That's the bottom line.
It's hard work, man. There's no question about it. There's a lot.
This is a tough business. You can make a lot of money if you get it working right. And you do get that lull, but you have to have reserves too, of course.
Right.
But you can make some pretty good money pretty fast. I think our top month is $55,000 in profit or commission one month. I mean, in our business, 20 some odd years. We had one year, I don't think we went below 18 in a month.
That's good.
So, but we were spending $5,000 on marketing, and I had a team. I had a processor. 17 years. Just had everything together. Small teams. Hard to get that going.
I tell you what. No. I tell you what. I'm telling you right now. Teams are where it's at.
Well, I've always believed in teams since I read the Red Book in the 90s. Well,
yeah, and I've read the Red Book and I've liked that. But most people, when the market went south, pretty much went back to solo agent. And right now, if people, I tell most new agents when I talk to them that find somebody to be with for at least the very beginning. Team up with somebody.
Yeah, be a buyer's agent. Right, a buyer's agent. You're taking 50% commission. They're getting a referral.
Right.
Good agent does not work with buyers. They have a buyer's team. They have a team. They give it to the new agent to go show houses. They may write the contract and help out, but the good agent focuses on listings, lots of listings.
Well, yeah, listings to lead.
And Zillow is purely a buyer's tool. One thing Zillow does help, we found at the open houses, though. You can announce the open houses. You put by the way, putting a picture up in Zillow is easy too. Just put the digital little video up.
That's they allow for video now, right?
Yeah, it's no brainer. They got a good little video app. You put a video app up, hardly anybody's doing it, but it puts you right in the top of the area code.
Yeah.
That's one of the good things. You have to buy into that to do that.
What about realtor.com?
I don't know. It's like Zillow. It's the second. We used to, in the 90s, when it first was out, we put money into it quite a bit. We're not right now. We're just fixing it for us.
Well, they don't really require you right now to put money to have success. Realtor.com has actually really pivoted on their philosophy, and they're actually starting to understand that with the name, they actually should be nice to us.
Well, that's not owned by Realtor. The Realtors sold it to.
No, I get it. They sold it a long time ago.
Hathaway. Hathaway, yeah.
Yeah, but they're actually starting to understand now that they, with that name, they got to be nice. So there's a lot of free stuff in Realtor.com anymore that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, Zillow has it too, and that's Zillow and Realtor. So just work on those freebies. Hey, Jonathan's up there. Jonathan, we're all talking about Blab. Hey, Jason, on the real estate side, you're still up on Blab. You're still on a Blab. I do a political show still on Sunday nights, and that's about it. That's
probably a heated discussion, I would imagine, Bill.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're not having people like beat each other up like they were last night, right? At the Trump rally, didn't some guy get like a bottle cracked over his head or something?
We had a pretty good time. I can tell you all about this stuff. And finally, it's just starting to break about I used to have a TSSCI. I'm read on just like Hillary. I've been saying for a year and a half when I first heard it, she's got to go to jail. You can't. And now it's come out exactly what I've been saying. They bridged it between the classified and the unclassified. There's a process where you bridge, but you have to have a lot of permissions to do that and a lot of process. They didn't follow process at all.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of heated discussions here on Blab when it's politically kind of a political topic, and I haven't been. I've kind of been on the sidelines, but I've seen them. There's some passionate people out there when it comes to their politics.
But most people. Yeah, I'm just saying though. But most people just don't understand. I'm probably one of the few people on Blab that even understands what's going on with the top secret and security.
Let me ask you this. Let's ask both of you this, because this is something that I'm kind of.
Don't tell me. I don't want to
know. I'm curious about this. This subject. Which party do you feel would be best suited for housing?
I think they both are somewhat. They both are control. The special interest control both the middle in Washington. National Association of Realtors gives a lot of money. One of the top donors, and I think they lean towards Republican, but not positive. It's 50-50. I mean, it's the oligarchy in the middle and the special interests control all the middle voters, period. I mean, we call it the fourth house.
Well, by the way, see, that's appointing the head secretary, right? That's a big deal.
My company does. This right now, 30,000, 20,000 are going out today. That's my side business. Made those in the house. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. But picking the head secretary, that's a big deal, right? I mean, that's a big decision, man. That's as big as not quite as big, of course, as picking somebody for the court, but
Right. I'd say the Supreme Court's probably number one, then your cabinet and your people you pick in key administrative places. And secretaries of defense.
Yeah. But the head secretary, HUD secretary, that's a big deal for the housing sector.
Yeah. And I've seen the numbers. I think the NRA, they're definitely in the top 5, National Association of Realtors, owners.
Yeah. But I was just curious because some may argue, well, Clinton or the Clintons, if you will, kind of spurred on the 90s housing, revolution, if you will. And that really spurred on some of the shady lending, if you will, or the creative lending and all that kind of stuff. And then, Bush, Republicans kind of were the fall guys for that.
Well, first quarter of 98 is when the market actually really turned, at least in the West. I was building subdivisions in the 90s, and I can tell you down to the quarter when it turned. I forgot the exact month now, but it was first quarter 98.
It just carried on through. I mean, it really went gangbusters.
If you're building houses or had lots, you saw lots that would maybe cost you under $50,000 go to $100,000 in 6 months in value. That's where you make a big mucks. The land underneath, because that cost of the construction doesn't go up much at all.
Yeah. Well, remember though, they were all blaming China with the Olympics of the shortage of concrete, and then concrete went through the roof. And
concrete material, but not proportionately compared to the appreciation. So
Yeah.
houses like in Central Valley where we were went from 178 up to 235 to 300, 350, 400. Now that's where they capped that level house, a 1,500, 1,800 square foot house.
Right.
And then we went into mega houses, like 2,500 square foot.
Yeah, the mega mansions, the McMansions, or whatever they call them.
Yeah, which you could get money for $700,000 in the Central Valley. That's where the biggest profit was, because the impact fees went up quite a bit. The school fees, the roads, all that stuff.
Now the tiny house is back in.
Yeah, you got the tiny house only pencils out when you have low impact fees. The cost, because if you pay the same fee for a small house or a big house,
Yeah.
it depends on how it's structured. Anyway, so you're back on Blab. Hope your business is doing well. So,
I've never left Blab, Bill. I never left it. I've kind of taken.
You're on Blab. I seen you.
Yeah, I'm on it. I just do my monthly show now. I don't do it weekly. And it was.
Hey, you do with me.
Well, yeah, with you, of course. I do this one weekly. The other one that I do on Wednesdays is once a month. This one we do once a week. And the one I did once a month, I scheduled that out way ahead of time, and had quite a few subscribers. I shouldn't say quite a few. I had like 9 or something like that. But then I go into it, and it's a mess. The audio is a mess. It just was. It was. I had to start a new one, and it was just a mess.
Everyone's having those problems. It sounds like. Hey, Jonathan, if he comes up real fast, he can touch bases. But everyone's having those problems on Blab, I think. But what's really disappointing is, I had a political show that I had 670 people come through once, and over 3,000 re-watches. You don't come close to that today. You can't even find people in searches.
Well, that's where like these other ones, like Spreecast that I showed, in that link or whatever. Some of those guys in there are getting 2, 3. One guy's he's got like 33,000 views.
Oh, on this side, on the other side, which I have.
On the other side, yeah. Now he does a thing. He does a show that talks about the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, and that kind of thing. So it's more of a talk show geared toward a TV show, I guess.
Hey, I'm going to run something past you real fast since you're a podcaster.
Yeah,
I've been working a lot with learning management systems.
Mm-hmm.
Just building a real simple, like how to podcast. There's about 4 ways to record a podcast. The easiest way I can see for the average person to record a podcast and do an interview is in Google Plus Hangout.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Blab, you got Google Plus, you got Zoom, you got a call recorder. Huh?
Well, I mean, if you can take the audio from it or whatever, but
from Google Plus, you can get it's good audio coming.
Yeah, no. I know. No, Google Plus is good audio. I like any of the internet stuff, to be honest. Here's what I do, Bill. It's really simple. I have Audacity. It's free. right?
Right.
And then I just connect with people online. So I don't do the Skype. I'll do like an appear in. I've recorded off that. I've recorded off of Google Hangouts, off Blab, off anything that you can talk through the internet on.
Yeah.
Have
And
you
record
tried Zencaster yet?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Done Zencaster. I've tested Zencaster out. I've got 260 interviews on my one of my podcasts. And I've talked to the guy who developed Zencaster, almost all these people. But I just want to ask you this question. You know the John Lee Dumas phenomenon. There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm thinking just making a simple evergreen course and really focusing on it that just takes, if they want to do interview podcasts, here's the ways you can do it, but here's what I recommend. Just use this, and this, like a USB, ATR 2100 using Google Plus Hangout, record it. I use Adobe Audition to edit mine. And then
you don't even have to do that. You can get those apps on your phone that record your phone conversation.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's without. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just because when a lot of people that that I go and interview or I've done interviews with are like podcasts. So where do I go? Do I have to go to a studio? What do I got to do?
Yeah.
And if you said, hey, look, now I have a mixer or whatever, I tell them just call me and I record right off my phone. Right.
You call them from their phone.
Yeah. And then I have my phone, plugged into my mixer here, whatever. Right. And then I record it. But you can also, there's apps out there that record phone conversations. So literally you could have a phone conversation, record the podcast, right? And then do your intro and outro, apologize maybe for the, not as good a quality audio or whatever. Podcasters for the most part and podcast listeners, in my opinion, are pretty tolerant to an extent when it comes to audio. If you can't hear it, it's garbage, it's garbage. But if you can make it, because even on the radio, when I listen to the radio, talk radio, when the sports guys, the head coach of the Cardinals calls in radios, it's not perfect quality audio, but it's very tolerable.
I've had people just call into Skype too.
Yeah.
Or I call them from my number on Skype.
Yeah. Or you do a Skype call, right? Yeah. So, but they have apps out there that record the conversation on the phone while you're talking, and they're free. And you can take that MP3 file or I think it's an MP3 that puts it on your phone, and then you can email it to yourself, put it into Audacity, edit it, whatever you got to do, and put it out there. Very simple way to do that.
But what I was trying to do is just make a simple online course that has just a couple of the easiest ways to create a podcast, either interview or straight across. Make it real simple, as simple as possible. I have one membership. I have one site that's got 600 people on it. It's called Podcaster's Home, but then make a private one and just go a 97 evergreen, try to get people in, because you shouldn't spend over $100 to learn how to podcast. You can do it you learn it for free. But,
I learned for free.
The groups where they're charging like $1,500, I guess they're going to the next level.
I will say this though, Bill, I did make some mistakes along the way. Mm-hmm. There's probably some things that I could have done better. The beautiful thing about podcasting is that it's yours.
Right.
So I am always a big proponent of don't do as others. I mean, learn from their mistakes, but make it your own. So for example, I don't put a podcast out every single day or every single week at a certain specific time.
Yeah. I
just put it out when I get the material. And that's a beautiful thing about podcasting is that it's on demand. People aren't waiting by their phone or their device. Oh my God, he hasn't uploaded. It's 7 a.m. in the morning and he hasn't uploaded it yet. People don't do that, in my opinion.
They don't, because you set that standard up. There are plenty of podcasts that get grief all the time for not being out when they are. They thought they've already fallen off the earth the first time they missed that hit.
How many people would you say actually though? Like I listen to Serial, right? Mm-hmm. I like it. Some people hate it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool, but I don't listen to it when it comes out. I listen to it and I'll even skip an episode or something. I listen to it when I've got time to listen to it. So if they're getting grief from people who are saying, oh, you didn't release it on time. Dude, get a life, man. I know you want that as part of your audience, but it seems a bit nitpicky to me. It's a podcast. It's on demand. It's radio on demand. What part of on demand don't we understand? It's when it's out there. It's not live. It's not live radio. It's podcast. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off there.
I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I have a few favorites. I go through cycles, tons of them. So when I do listen.
Yeah, that's the thing. People listen to them and then they get kind of bored with them and then they go back and revisit it later on down the road or whatever. There are very rarely, I don't know, fans that listen religiously every single week, unless it's maybe a self-help kind of thing or something. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Hey, moving the topic along, though, I think there's some really overpriced podcasting courses out there. People are buying into.
Are you kidding me? They're all over the place.
Overpriced. That's why I think just a simple community. It's simple to bring it down to people want to get together. But that said, overpromising is one of the problems with a lot of those, and that leads me to Trump University. Oh, that's hysterical.
That's got the real estate spin, doesn't it?
I've been in real estate 25 years, and we've done really well early on buying houses and just holding them. That's my whole life. You have a normal job, go and accumulate a house every couple of years, get cash flow going, work on it. B&B maybe even now have a B&B out there.
Well, yeah, B&B, Airbnb or whatever.
Airbnb, yeah.
Yeah, they're having issues. So that's why
we have Reno's a resort area. They rent out the top of their house, live down in the basement.
Oh, Phoenix does the same. I've got friends that actually are part of that Airbnb, especially when the Super Bowl and everything comes here. It's crazy.
Some weekends like $1,000.
Yeah, the TPC and Barrett Jackson and all the stuff that comes through Phoenix. They a lot of people do that. That's why I was asking about, what party would be better. I mean, is Trump, is he going to be good for real estate?
You got Hillary Clinton, who'll probably end up in jail. You got Trump out there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what Trump would do with real estate. I never even thought about that yet.
I mean, he wouldn't. He's not going to worry about that. Actually, what he would do is he'd hire the Rich Dad Poor Dad author and make him be the head of
HUD.
Yeah. So, but remember, George Bush, housing was the central focal point of the financial crisis, right? And it was a big part of the economy. It was the part of the economy. And yet here we are going to elect officials, and we're not even asking that question. What would you do for housing?
It caused the crisis.
That caused a worldwide, not just a local, a worldwide crisis. And nobody's asking, what are you going to do for housing? How are you going to stabilize it? Now, I've heard rumblings that Trump is going to get rid of the CFPB, or he's going to get rid of the Dodd-Frank Financial Reform Act, or he's going to have some revisions to it or whatever. I don't know. Is that part of it? Parts of that is probably good. Not all of it's good.
If I were Trump, I'd start talking about that crisis and remind.
Absolutely, I'd be talking.
Hillary and the whole gang was there doing all that crap, and both Republicans and Democrats. The establishment was doing that.
Yeah,
right and left. That's the establishment. Republicans, Democrats were doing that. So
yeah, all career politicians were in on that thing. Yeah. So for him to be an outsider, that's his in.
Yeah, his in is being an outsider.
Yeah, his end's being an outsider, right? And he's going to change things because Obama, that was his campaign motto, right? Change. Had all those posters about change out there. That's because he's the first black president. That's how I feel about it. It's not that he created any type of change, because I don't think he's done anything for that. But
the other thing Obama talked about that is really bad is he talked about open government. And this has been the most closed, secretive government I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, behind closed doors, secret Nancy Pelosi crap. I mean, come on.
Yeah, even all the legislation and stuff. Especially the first few years. So, I mean, when a candidate says one thing about principle or over philosophy, maybe they're talking about themselves having that shortfall. That's what I've seen, at least.
Yeah.
So it's
and I don't know if I had an epiphany this past week, Justin, but when I did the real estate roundtable, I was doing my research and pulling up some articles and things like that. There are articles out there, and this goes for newscasts as well. And I kind of saw it because you got NBC, who's kind of left wing, and you got Fox, that's real right wing, kind of biased, and you kind of knew that. But there are articles that are put out there to create their own news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's just I think the article was trended credit data that's coming out here June 25th. Fannie Mae's implementing trended credit to where if you have pay off your credit card on a monthly basis, that you're at less of a credit risk than somebody who has a maxed out credit card or even goes over or extends on their credit cards. And so they're taking that into consideration in the credit scoring model. And that's to take effect. Freddie Mac hasn't adopted that yet. But what they're also saying is they're allowing for people who have no credit whatsoever, who have alternative credit, such as rent payments, gas bill, electric bill, dentist bill, cell phone bills, that sort of things. Because right now, unless they're a collection, they don't show up on your credit. Well, they're going to allow for those things to be added to your credit report. And this article went on to say, well, that's going to make it more difficult for people to buy homes because people are going to, they kind of forego maybe the electric bill just a little bit and pay it a few days late in order to pay that credit card on time because they know the credit card is the actual one reporting to the bureau. Right? This was the article. And I said, well, man, that's only if it's not that the electric companies have the infrastructure in place to even report on the credit bureau for every citizen in the United States. They don't have that. And if they did that, my electric bill would probably go up by 20%. Right? And that's not going to happen because it's a political thing and you got to vote to get your electric bill, increased or whatever. It's only if we, the lender, want to have the credit bureau add that to the credit report to establish credit worthiness for that particular borrower. But this article took it to the extreme. Nobody's going to know that when they're paying their electric bill late, it's going to show up on their credit. It's going to prevent them from buying a house, and it's going to crash the market. And like, good grief, this article is going way off on the deep end here.
Yeah, but they're going to be right to a certain degree just by throwing 50 darts at a dartboard. They're going to hit one thing right, because the market is going to start going south, and something they say in that article will be right, and then they will quote it.
Why do you think the market's going to go south? I mean, it's not up where it was price-wise.
There's several factors that are playing at this right now. One, traditionally speaking, you're usually on a cycle about every 7 to 9 years. We're at that point in time where we're looking for a downshift. Two, the government hasn't shown they have any faith that we have a recovered economy yet. And, they won't raise the points. I mean, I know the points, if we raise the points, it would slow down the market a little bit, but it would actually show consumers we have confidence. Two, we haven't elected a new official yet, and it just got done saying no one knows what's going on. But I think the bigger factor to all this is the supply is not running out, but the healthy supply of homes, people that are ready to buy, is gone. That stuff is not there. So people, like you said, you want to flip homes, that would be where you got to go. Buy the crap that's out there and try to flip it and sell it. But that's going to drop pricing sales because our prices are inflated and unnaturally inflated at this point in time because people are buying move-in ready, no work effort homes. But there's a lot of crap out there.
No, I mean, there's always, and you have to fixing up a house. I'm big into buying and holding, not flipping.
I would be big into flipping right now if you had the right area for it. You got to have the right area for it because that's very regionalized right now in the market. Very, very,
I think you could probably do that here in Reno, but you take a little bit of risk catching the top side because we have Tesla, a lot of job creation here.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a risk, right? That's why buying and holding is a better strategy for you where you're at. But yeah. Right now we're in an inflated market, and buyer pool is going to do this year. I think it was this winter. Average rental price and affordability index cross one another. So people are renting more than they can afford. So they're starting to tap into their savings.
We find that, but hey, let's see.
So they can't afford to make a down payment to buy a home.
Jonathan had a question, said, Jason, what's the best phone app for recording? See that?
I personally haven't used, so I can't really say the best phone app. I've got Rec. What's it called?
I've got some too.
Let me see if I can find it here for you.
There's a free one. It's not too bad. It's called Audio Memos. AUDO.
Yeah, but there's some out there that actually record the actual phone conversation.
The Box, I think, will do that.
Yeah. So I've got
if you're actually just trying to record your phone conversation, all carriers have that functionality.
Oh, the carrier. So Verizon, you can get it through Verizon.
Right. So I'm not even talking that. If you actually use your phone, and you hit every carrier has a different phone number, but like for Verizon, I think it's 4. You can actually hit 4 and record the phone conversation.
Okay, so explain that. Tell us how you do that.
If I'm calling you, Jason, we're talking, I can hit my 4 button. It will actually say turn phone recording on.
The number 4 button.
The number 4 button.
Oh, okay. So here,
most carriers have it. A version of that in one number or another. Most use 4, but they have it in different
And then
formats.
what do they do? Does a carrier then send you like an MP4 audio file of that? Or
I haven't tested that out yet, but I do believe what happens is afterwards, you're going to get an email sent to you basically via you that has that recording.
You see Jonathan down there?
Yeah,
I tried to add him.
He's pulsating there. I don't know what's going on.
Trying to get in.
I told him to come in because actually it is my checkout time because I need to start my fun for the day.
What do you do, Justin? Where are you?
I am a realtor. Most of the time, though, I am a realtor tech coach, quite literally. I teach people how to be more efficient and more strategic with the technology at their fingertips.
That's a good idea. What location? What part of the world?
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. There's a podcasters movement coming up.
I will be there. Are you going?
No, I'm not going to go. I go to Las Vegas. I'm in Reno, so I'll drive down 95.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm doing this one. It is literally in my backyard.
I
so like, okay, I can go to this.
I'm in Reno too. We got a lot of stuff in the backyard. So Jonathan didn't come in. He couldn't get in.
I let him in, and it just pulsated there, and then he tried coming in again. He looks like
cycling. Must be a blabism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I'm looking at that Spreecast, man. I don't know why people aren't looking at that. I don't care.
They haven't had it. What do they call it? The mayor's, whatever it is, the mayor's thing. They call it every once in a while they come up and give an update on Blab.
Oh,
what's it called? Town hall meeting.
Yeah, town hall, right.
Jonathan's trying to.
I think that's a sign in its own right.
They haven't had one in a while. I just asked them on help today, when are you going to have your next town hall meeting? They sort of,
there you go.
There he is. There's Jonathan.
Jonathan's
okay. Well, you guys have a good day. I brought in my recruit.
Justin, wait a second. Let me get your information.
It goes off. I was going to ask Justin a question.
Okay, you can ask that and shoot, and then I'll leave.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you. What are your thoughts about Zillow, and do you think?
I love Zillow.
No,
do you think it really depends on the type of agent and where they are in experience that should look at it or not?
I think Zillow can be, and Trulia and Realtor.com, they all can have a price model and benefit for them. Right now, I think the only way it's going to work for you is if you're a team and you have people designed to convert leads wholly.
I agree.
If it's not going to be that, you're going to fail in it. Statistically speaking, 31%, negative 31% ROI on those type of leads that you're buying for.
That's a lot of.
So it's a cash loss.
That's
by far.
Crazy.
But there are plenty of people that I know. I can say that stat, but I can go right next door and talk to a buddy of mine who he has made $3 million. 60% of it comes straight from Zillow. So there are ways of making it work.
Yeah.
But you need to have a plan. You need to have a system in place. And to me, my experience is teams make that the best option. If you have teams and you have someone dedicated to capture that lead, answer quickly, convert it, it works. But as a single agent and you start getting busy, you are losing money hands over fists.
All right.
And Zillow don't care. We gave you your 4 leads.
Yeah.
And what I think Zillow is going to do, they're actually talking about not only removing some, but also put those leads into a rotational circle. So whoever answers first actually gets it, which that would piss me off. I'd run away.
What about Lending Tree?
Isn't
there realtors on Lending Tree, or can't there be realtors on Lending Tree? I know it's like a big loan kind of deal, but can't realtors be on Lending Tree as well?
I don't even, to be honest with you, my first and only experience with Lending Tree was so awful. I don't even go even look at their stuff. So now again, that's not fair, but that's the fact. I won't look at them. So I don't know. The answer is, I'm hoping you'd know that answer because I haven't researched it.
Yeah, I know on the loan side, it's about the cost of a lead there is about $75. And the Quicken Loans, Loan Depot, and one other one, Ditech, I think it is, they pretty much dominate that because they just bombard people. It's a little bit because I got a friend of mine who gets some leads from there, and he says by the time he can even reach the client, they've been called by because they have these automatic dialers. They just bombard people, and they get turned off by the process.
Yeah,
I still think real estate comes down to the basics, though. You have to have just a website. You have to go out and knock, talk, and meet people, and build relationships.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, your sphere is always statistically going to be your best avenue for conversion and for business. But for new agents or new teams that are out there, you got to find a way to get that impression. There's an agent, she lives out in Connecticut. She moved from across the country. She lived there. Her only way of getting exposure early on was internet advertising. She rocked the world with it, Facebook, social media. And now she's one of the top. She was. I haven't looked in a while, but she was always one of the top 10 teams in Keller Williams.
So what are you doing? Are you helping people put the pixel on their website, set up campaigns, landing pages?
Well, I'm even right now, to be honest with you, in the Midwest, I am way more basic than that. I am just trying to get them to understand what the pixel is.
Yeah.
And how that works for them, right? I mean, one of the things that I'm doing right now is you were talking about building a podcast class. I have literally built an online Facebook class, starting them from start to growing it to have people in it, right? I mean, it's literally the basics right now.
What's the link to it? What's the link to your site?
It's eprofessorofrealestate.com.
eProfessor. Like the name. You've got the wizard and the professor.
Well, I live in DeKalb, which is Northern Illinois, so it's a university town. So that was the big play on terms. So for the longest time, I was a professor of real estate when I was selling homes, and now that I teach realtors, I'm the e-professor.
You're the e-professor.
But yeah, that's where a lot of it is. And right now, I teach people how to use the MLS. I'll teach you how to use your phone.
Hey, give me
how
that
to
link
actually
again,
get started.
drop it in. Oh, there's down below. Thanks.
It's in there. Yeah.
Twitter.com, I'll show them how to get some of this stuff. And I'm just trying to get them to think beyond this stuff, because one of the things that drives me nuts about a lot of realtors these days is they listen to me talk or listen to all of us talk, say, this is a great tool, this is a great tool, this is a great tool. And they go, well, I spent all this time on these tools and it got me nowhere. Duh. Be focused, be on point, and then you'll get business. And pick one. Don't pick 500.
Yeah. And perfect.
I've been doing this for 10 years.
That one, then move on to the next.
I do like your website.
Yep. And that's where I'm teaching.
I like your simplicity of your website. Always scared about sliders, though. John and I had the number 2 WordPress show on iTunes for a while.
Yeah, that the slider. I'm glad you said that, because the slider is where I'm struggling the most with. I kind of like it, but I'm probably going to remove it. It's kind of like it's killing what I had initially thought the purpose was for.
It detracts from what you want them to do. But the other thing too is it's one of the most vulnerable areas in a website.
Well, he's taking up a lot of real estate, isn't it?
Right.
You know, it was all popular, but I was never that popular with them. But you know, I don't think you can say yes or no. It's a bit like Zillow, really, isn't it?
Zillow versus your
depends
website.
on the circumstances.
No, it's a bit like Zillow.
Zillow.
Love that, man. I'm going to use that. Zillow.
Zillow. So you don't get some.
But Justin and Jason, I'm going to have to show you mail right.
Yes, absolutely. No, we should actually do a whole episode of this on that tool, because I would think that'd be a good episode to have, to be honest with you.
I've been working on it. I've been working with building up a couple new products that integrate with MailRite around Facebook. But what I've learned over the year is a bit like what you just said, Jason. They tend to get very scattered, don't they? They try this, try that, and you need to focus on the things that you like and you think you can do on a consistent basis. And also the thing that I've learned is the very wide spectrum of computer or technology kind of skills in the industry. It's so broad, it's unbelievable. I have clients that really don't understand the basics, and then I have other clients that are pretty sophisticated. So it's so broad, isn't it?
It's hard.
Well, and that's the problem. I mean, the problem with real estate today is you cannot do real estate business without technology of some sort. I mean, shoot, at the very least, we have a computer and a phone in hands all the time. But it doesn't mean you have to have your life run by the technology, and we have to find ways to leverage it so we can do what we are good at doing. And that is, as Bill was saying, be in front of people all the time, right? That's what we have to do as realtors, is be out there, but leverage the technology and pick the right technologies that are available for us so we can leverage our time more efficiently and we can actually have a life, right? I always worry about agents. Well, I can't go on vacation. It's a busy time of year.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask you, Jason, that I've been quite surprised over because I started Mailrite, and the initial process took me 8 months, and then I had to put it on the back burner, and then I went back into it, and it's taken over a year. So the whole thing's almost taken up a year, and then I've been actually actively selling it since after Christmas, and it was a bit buggy, but it's all settled down. But what I've been really surprised about is the amount of agents that don't have databases, don't have any, they don't even seem to understand the necessity for having an effective system of building up a database. That's the main thing I found quite shocking, because I think like the Red Book and all the trainers and everything's about building up a database. But why do you think still so many agents don't even do the fundamental like that?
Because it's hard to go talk to your sphere. No one wants to go talk to people you know and work with that stuff. So it's easier to go try to do something else.
All right.
That's why. I mean, simple answer. No one wants to do. I'll be honest with you. My best business was talking to my sphere. My best fun that I had was growing my database. So I was succeeding in internet lead generation, Craigslist, Facebook, things like that. I had a blast with it. But make me call my sphere, forget it. I'd never do it. It's painful, and there's a lot of realtors that won't fight that. And it's hard from a coaching perspective. That's one of the things that you really got to fight with a lot of agents to get over is to get over that, because really, who are people going to help you out the most? People that like you, right? They want to help you.
They don't. One reason they don't want to call them sometimes because they're friends and relationships. They don't want to blow the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what scares
me. But you don't.
That does scare me a little bit about email.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to have a very crafted email. Go ahead, John.
What is like we've had?
Let them talk.
Well, we had that discussion, Bill.
I think email is not,
I just wanted to see.
You can do email. You just have to be very careful.
No, I think email is still a major solution, right? From an internet marketing perspective, you have mail, it's going to work. It's still been proven to be one of the best conversion tactics out there from an internet perspective. But one of the things that I think you have to be on, and you got to know one of two things. You have to know who your audience is and how you're going to relate to that audience. And I have several agents that will email 3-4 times a month to their sphere, and it works for them because that's who the relationship they have built and that's who they work for. You have others that will do it once a month and be equally as successful. You mentioned the Red Book earlier, Bill. I'm a Keller Williams agent. They promote that stuff all the time, 33 touches. But I don't push that on agents, because if it's not the clientele they are building, they're going to burn them just as fast as they get them.
So uniqueness. You got to have uniqueness in your email.
Yeah, I think that's so right, Justin. But I think what I try and get across is that you should divide. You should be actively building up your database. And then if you've got mailing lists, that's why you need a good customer relations system, because you need to divide that list into different lists of people that that are not actively looking for property. They should be sent something suitable to them. Or if you've got they might not be looking to buy right at this moment, but they're really interested in property, you send them something different. And then the really hot people, you should be touching.
Well, and the trick is, and I agree with you, grouping your names are as important. Segregating those names are important. But one of the things I've seen realtors do are insane things. I have quite literally seen people go, yeah, I got this one list. It is my brother's son-in-law's softball beer league team, right? Did you send them any marketing? Well, no, but I will sometime. Right, you're going to segregate out these lists to how you need to market to them, right? These names should be, these are my soft touches, these are my hard touches, these are my quick touches, these are my whatever touches. That's how you need to segregate them. That way, when you're sending it out, you are ready to go and you're doing it on point. But don't try to create these goofy names that you will never do and don't remember how they got there. So,
No, but I think email marketing is like anything, isn't it? It's sending something to the right people at the right time, isn't it? And sending the wrong stuff
are you
to the
talking
wrong
about
people
like a
just
non-opt-in
peeves them
list?
off, doesn't it? So
when you say you got a list of like a basketball players, whatever it is,
yeah.
that's just a list without being opted in.
Yeah, I mean and you got to be careful with that these days too, right? But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You got your list from your husband or your brother or whatever that has all their teammates, things like that. Or you coach a team, you coach a little league team, and you got all their parents' email addresses. You got to be careful with that stuff. People always tell you got to market to them. You just build sphere. Well, you build a relationship first. So either that, I'm sorry, guys, that is how I got to end this because I actually got to get out the door. Sorry, fellas. Hope you guys are having a good one. Have fun carrying on this conversation.
Thanks, Justin. Interesting topic.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Justin.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason's
Great
right.
discussion. Thank you.
From Chicago.
Oh,
Jason from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
It's hot,
From
it's hot
Chicago.
down in Phoenix, isn't it? Like 106 or something right now?
Warm places.
Oh no, it's going to be 113 today, 116 tomorrow, 115 on Sunday.
Wow. I was down there once doing some Air Force training. It was 117 one day, and I left an apple in the car, and it was like hot apple pie.
We're gonna break a record. I think our record today is like 110 or something like that, 112. We're gonna be at 113. So the tourism, Phoenix tourism, doesn't like this hot weather because when it hits the news like that, our tourism goes down.
Oh yeah. Well, in the summertime, why would you be going to Phoenix?
It's kind of interesting because in the summertime, Phoenicians hate. This is our winter. Okay, we stay inside or we're in the pool. Yeah. That's the deal.
Yeah.
But for Alice, you'll see the tourists here. They'll be out there in the shorts, getting sunburnt and all that kind of stuff. When you're out of state coming in 116, because it is a dry heat, it's not that bad. Yeah. But when you live in it every day, it wears on you.
It dries the cars too, and takes a lot to.
It tears the cars up.
Yeah.
Batteries here in Arizona last 2 years. Car batteries. Yeah. Car tires, they're all over the road because the heat just deteriorates the rubber.
Yeah, Las Vegas the same way. It gets Las Vegas. I've seen 111, 112. Asphalt. You can't be walking barefoot.
Oh no! In fact, we just had a warning last night. All the news: don't walk your pets after 9 o'clock in the morning because of the asphalt's hot and it'll burn their paws and blah blah.
It does.
So we're getting those kind of warnings.
Yeah. So interesting discussion. I was just talking, Jonathan, about that email. You have to be. Email's a weird thing in lists. It's just.
Here's what I say about email. I like email, but I like video email. So I like to embed video into the emails, making them unique and talking about you and how you can help somebody, not how you can help them make sidewalk chalk or other stuff that may be, pumpkin pie or something like that. Because I get these emails from these realtors and it's the exact same email, different brands, but the content is exactly the same. The layout's exactly the same. Everything's exactly the same. So if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at that, this is just me and my personality. I'm not calling those realtors. It's got to be unique. It's got to be something that they can customize. And if realtors don't take the time to customize it, then they're not going to take the time to customize it.
Well, I agree to you with a certain extent. I think it depends where that client is in the process. I think if it's a big list and you're sending them just a quick touch once a month, and it's something you've selected, some won't be happy with that. The majority, I on my other business, I have a list of over 3,000 people, and I've been sending out a newsletter every month for the past 7 years, and I get about 25% opening it. But people do come up to me, and I think it just keeps me in front of them. And I think it just varies. I think sending them a personal video is a great idea if it's a strong connection or you've just met them. So I think having a broad system that
I'm not saying that you shouldn't touch somebody. There's no argument there for me. You should touch. The touch is key. I'm saying while you touch them, be unique in your touch. That sounds a little kinky. But you know, just be yourself. The touches, the fact that you're getting 25% open.
That's what you get up to. It's not Unix, is it?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this though, Jonathan. If you did a video on current events, whatever, market updates, whatever it may be, instead of getting 25% opening, would you get 30%? Keeping the same rhythm of the touch.
Well,
you know what I mean? Yeah, you're breaking up on your end. I see Bill just fine. And I see myself just fine. But I'm not the frequency. Absolutely, you got to stay on top of it. That's where Bill had mentioned earlier. It's a lot of work, no question about it. You got to work. You got to put the effort into it. You can't just set it and forget it in real estate. It doesn't work that way.
No, it's constantly changing.
Yeah. So that because it's constantly changing, the message has to be constantly changing with it. So that's all I'm saying. And being able to now, if you take different articles and you're able to format them and kind of move them around and kind of make it your own, I'm good with that.
Oh, I see what you're talking. You're talking about the emails that are sent out. No,
yeah,
they're canned. Okay.
When I open it up and I see the exact same thing and just a different name instead of Remax at Century 21 or whatever, and then the message in the content is exactly the same.
That's called white labeling. That's white labeled.
Yeah, it's like, well, wait a minute, you didn't pay attention to me. You got my email and you got my attention. Yet you're blowing me off and my attention. That feels like to me a waste of my time. Therefore, click delete.
But the thing is, most people aren't going to get multiple realtors with that same program. Probably.
Well, they will. Yeah, they will. I mean, how many real estate companies are out there doing that?
Oh, the companies themselves. Yeah.
And how many email databases are out there? I don't know how they got I'm in the real estate world. I get it. And I see what you're saying. A high percentage of them aren't going to get duplicate.
Right.
In the rare instance that they do.
Your personal farm as your farm generally,
It's just like how many realtors right now on Facebook post the properties, right? They post pictures of the properties, whatever. That's kind of that's a trend right now, right? Yeah. Where if they did a video of the property, they would be a trendsetter. And that's all I'm saying is be a trendsetter.
We have videos right now in Zillow.
Yeah, there's small videos that don't have sound or something, right?
2 minutes. They work pretty good. They really drive up SEO.
I hear they do work pretty good. So, okay, so there's a small percentage of those people on Zillow actually taking advantage of that. You're trend setting. That's great. I think that's fantastic. That separates you from the crowd. And I would be, me personally, I'd be more apt to do business with a realtor like that. I'll tell you on my next listing, the next time I have a realtor want to list my house, and believe me, I mean, I get solicited all the time because they're all friends of mine or whatever. And it gets to be a tough decision for me to make when I go to sell my house, who's going to list it. But a prerequisite is going to be, what are you going to do to put this property on the market? I don't care about the MLS anymore. It's important. Don't get me wrong. But what, in addition to that, are you doing? And I'll tell you what's destroying it a little bit are these real estate shows, Home and Garden TV, New York millionaire real estate, whatever that where the realtors do all these kind of different marketing things with properties. Granted, my house is not $1 million, but it's $500,000. And so with that, you're going to have to market to the world. I don't care that my neighbor knows that my property is for sale. The sign will do that. I want somebody in Japan knowing that my house is for sale. Because the real estate world, in my opinion, with technology has shrunk big time. And the information that people can get, 90% of people go to the internet to search out real estate before they even talk to a realtor. I want to capture those people's attention. And not just with a picture that is fake. I want something that's captivating. And the realtors who aren't doing that, well, then you're not getting my listing. That's just my opinion.
Well, Zillow does that. I mean, Zillow.
I don't care about Zillow. I mean, I want it. Don't get me wrong. I want it out everywhere, but I want uniqueness. What do you bring into the table that's different than if you're doing the same as everybody else, then why should I use you? What's unique? What do you bring into the table?
You know what I tell them? The contract and understanding how to work with buyers and pricing is still a real art and very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a house, the longer it stays on the market, it's going to generally go down in value, unless a neutral market, of course.
I just put a link in there, Jason, from Melrite. We're doing some experiments.
Mm-hmm.
Just click it.
And I agree, Bill. The key component to a realtor today is their negotiating skills.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a basic.
That's the key component. Outside of that, I don't need a realtor, really. I can do it myself.
Contract, the paperwork, taking all that off, and just helping you through the process. I mean, FSBO, there's a lot of FSBOs out there, of course, for sale by owners.
But I want a realtor that's going to push that envelope. I want them to be. I like that, John, where you have a video embedded in there.
Let me see.
Hey, Dandy Eldridge, how are you? Hey,
I don't like the video. He begs too much.
I said,
but I like that format, right? He's different. He's talking directly to me in that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So we're doing that to try and get more reviews.
Yeah,
and
that's
feedback.
great. I like that. 100%.
Yeah, I think you just come up with that video like John. I critique that with the guy. Make sure you have makeup, you look nice, little camera. But you say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I really appreciate it if you go over, and this is how you do it. Maybe a little demographic, how you do that.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing for the realtor as well. That's evergreen.
Right.
He can repurpose that for every client that he does.
Exactly.
So it's not hard, yet it's personal and it's different.
Yeah.
And so that's the message I've been trying to preach.
So that's the type of thing we're up to in Melrite. I'm kind of building it out, and we're adding video where we think it will add extra value.
Does it play right in the email, or does it take them to a website that then they have to hit play?
It's on the email. What's it?
Is it in the email? So if I open up my Gmail, can I play it right from that Gmail, or does it open up another tab?
We're doing both, actually. The first email that they send out, they'll be able to either put a picture of themselves or a video, and then it has a link that take them here. And we suggest they have two videos, one that just says quickly hello, can you give us a route, and the other one that explains how they can, when they click the button, when they go to Trilio or Zilio, what they should do for the agent. Because actually, you think it's really quite easy, but actually I've tested it with a few people that have never gone to Zilio to give a review, and it's not that intuitive what you're supposed to do. So that's how we try and get the agent to do two videos, a kind of a quick hello, click the button, and
I like the ones that you can play right from the email that don't take me to another site. Just me personally, I feel like I'm being sold when I'm taken to another site. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay on my email. That's why I'm in my email. So if you can play it right from your email, fantastic. I've used iJot for that. So very similar to what you have there, which I think is fantastic. I think it's beautiful. I think more agents should be doing that.
How do you make your videos? Use a phone, or you just use?
Yeah, I just use the phone, or now they have it with the desktop. You can do it on desktop. And just say, hey.
High enough quality.
Well, what you got to remember, the program that you remarked is really fantastic, and obviously you got BombBomb. But what you also got to understand, Jason, is most agents or mortgage broker professionals.
When you just
they're just saying
EYEJOT.
Your IT.
You broke up there, Jonathan. Sorry about that.
I miss you.
Well, they just won't have your kind of technical.
I spoke to an agent not too long ago, and I said, "Hey, I do some live streaming. I think that I gave him some ideas of live streaming and how they can be implemented in his business for open houses and other things, activities and things like that." And he said, "Jason, I'm not on board with live streaming just yet. I know it's kind of a popular thing right now. It's kind of trendy, but I'm not on board. In fact, I look at that as the same as I looked at the internet back in 1999. Just uncertainty about the internet. And I said, well, where are we at today with the internet? He's like, well, it's everywhere. Everybody's got it and everybody's on it. I said, okay, well then you don't think live streaming has the potential of going that direction? He's like, I do, but I just don't see, I'm more old school. I'll do the mailers. I get instant feedback on it. Well, and in my mind, I thought, well, that's just lazy. I get it. It's a proven track record. It's like buying a Ford Escort, that has a proven track record, it can run for 200,000 miles rather than buying the newer model car. So I get his thought process behind it. But it's like the live streaming 360-degree videos.
Well, I think, to be fair though, Jayson, I think a lot of that is that there is so many choices when it comes to marketing and real estate. There's so agents are just bombarded by different online services. There's 1,000 ways to spend your money, isn't there, Bill?
You're breaking up there again, but yeah, there is a lot of ways. There's different choices, and realtors don't know which one to pick. I get it.
So it's easier just to go the easy way, which is not do anything.
Yeah.
I disagree though a little bit because, like Zillow, we probably wouldn't recommend Zillow. We don't recommend Zillow. I have Zillow. We're blowing $360 a month. And then, by the way, it's a 20% buyout for a contract.
Yeah. Well, Zillow doesn't seem to have the agent's best interest in mind. I don't know. I don't know. Zillow.
They're working specifically on the sell, the upsell, and the oversell.
Yeah, and then I put a listing on Zillow, right, which you feel like you have to have. I put a listing on there. It's my listing. Yet I have 3 different agents on there on that listing claiming that it's theirs.
Right, and that's crazy. And that's how it works. Those are called impressions.
Grief, man. Why? I did the work on that, not them. And yet they get the benefit because they paid more money. So it just doesn't seem to have the agent's best interest in mind.
But it's a go-to place though for.
I know they've done a masterful job, and it's kind of like having a college degree. You got to pay $100,000 to get a degree to make 30.
Actually, a master's isn't too bad. There's what the job is.
The point I'm making though.
I'm giving you a hard time. But I saw this one e-professor on Zillow. Hey, tell me about this e-professor. How's he doing? He's been doing this?
He's good. I like Justin. Justin does.
Trying to make money working with the agents, I take it.
Yeah, he does some real estate, I believe, and then he also does some training and stuff like that for agents as well.
Yeah, just to finish off, Jayson, because I've got to do some work in a minute.
Yeah, me too.
What's your feelings about Curator and what Chris Smith and Jimmy are doing? Got any thoughts about that?
I'm not. Is that Creator? Is it? Do you say Creator? Is that it?
Curator.
Curator.
Yeah.
Curator.
I'll put the link in.
Here, I got the link.
Yeah, put the link in. I'm not familiar with it, to be honest with you.
You don't know about Curator? They've got about 2,000 clients. They charge $1,500 a client average, and they do at least $500 of Facebook advertising. They've been doing it for about a year.
So they do the Facebook advertising for you.
Yeah, they've got some of the top people, like an agency. Yeah. Is that about right? Is that how you see it?
It's a little bit more complicated than that. But funny enough, Bill, they've stopped the $500 because the way they spun it is that they said that some agents wanted to stop advertising in the winter, so they don't give you a monthly requirement now, Bill, about the Facebook. But they actually they say to get in, they charge an initial. They ask somebody to sign a 6-month contract, and it's around a $7,000 initial sign-in process. They want 7 view, Bill.
Right.
And basically, what they do, Jayson, is they it's by zip code. They only work with one agent per zip code. So if you're in cities that they've already have agents, they can't work with you. and they supply a website that has certain internal function. It's based on WordPress, and you're renting that website, and then they use Follow Up Boss as their customer management system. They use a competitor for their email to me, and they also help you set up your Facebook advertising. They're very big upon working with Facebook. So apart from the website, they're more of an advertising consultancy agency, really, that seemingly get really good results.
So I'm looking at the website here. I don't know if it looks like we lost you again there, Jonathan. I'm looking at one of the websites here, Live Low Homes or whatever. The website's pretty cool. I mean, I will say that the website's got some sex appeal. But yeah, I don't know, man. One thing about an agent, or one thing I heard from an agent here, and Jonathan, I don't know if you can hear me. Bill, I'm sure you can. Is that the websites are okay, but as you kind of alluded to, people go back to Zillow, they go back to Trulia, they go back to Realtor.com. Yeah. They don't spend a lot of time on the Realtor website anymore.
No, you have even the agency, even the brokerage's website.
Yeah, I mean, they go there and see that you are a realtor, and they maybe look at some testimonials or something like that, and then they're done. And then they're back to Zillow, and that's it.
Yeah. If you just have a browser and you just type in Karen Conrad in the browser, I tell Karen a listing presentation, have them type that in, and especially in Reno, and see what comes up. That's national.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
What happens when you type in Karen Conrad? Because this is, I think,
with Karen with a K.
KarenConrad.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll search for you. We have images come up on your site, and she's got red hair, and she's got one in black and white, and then you see some flyers.
Speaking and home staging.
Okay, is that what comes up first? What comes up first?
Images, and then Karen Conrad speaking and home staging.
Okay, that's
her?
Out of Florida. That's another Karen Conrad. So KarenConrad.com doesn't come up first, huh? I do it incognito. I think it depends where you are, too.
Yeah, Google does their little local thing. Then there's a Facebook profile. There's KarenConradHome.com that comes up.
KarenConrad.com is her site, but that's
interesting. It's down. There's one here about Karen Conrad.
That's probably not the right one. It doesn't.
It says KarenConrad.com/Karen-Conrad.
Just Karen. If it's KarenConrad.com, it's her blog. Build the SEO up on. That has a refrigerator up there right now. There's about to be an open house up there.
Chase International, Nevada, Chase, California.
Definitely Chase.
Yeah, that's her. I see her.
Yeah. Anyway, it didn't come up as high as I thought.
Her picture does, though. Her picture is the first.
Go to image. Yeah. The other thing too in the image, I've tagged. There's another person in black and white. She works with her a lot, Dallas. And then there should be some flyers that pop up too. You see flyers in the pictures and the images.
Yeah, I see a couple flyers there.
Tag those images. Those are like her homes, and some of those are Amazon S3 links, and so those are popping up.
But KarenConrad.com doesn't come up. It's the about page that comes up first.
For her, KarenConrad.com /about. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what's on there. I put a relocation link on something. Had like 1,500 hits. No one signed up. Oh, KarenConrad.com about. Did you get a error 404?
No.
Let me see.
On the about page? No.
Oh, no. I just put the word about. So it's KarenConrad.com, Karen-Conrad / Okay. I was just looking how I addressed it. It's been a while. No, I'm down below, by the way.
On her page there?
Yeah, if you go down below it, I'm below it.
Oh, yeah. There you are. Yeah.
And then the LinkedIn is there. And then one of Jonathan's products you can see is on the right-hand side. If you look over into the Facebook on the right-hand side, one thing I do like his product is that every day automatically a new post is posted there.
Oh, yeah, I see it there.
So realtors don't miss something.
Yeah.
So something's always new being posted there. And that's just to make it look
Colorado added 1 million people. Is that the post?
let's see, in the last 15 years. Yeah, that's it. That's automatically posted.
You can
I
scroll through those Facebook posts too.
It's very inexpensive too. He charges like $7. And you get a lot.
I just got everything gets nickel and dimed.
But he get for $9 you get his email system and the key is then you need training after that. He's got about 3 things that I believe in, and then from there you can go up into a Facebook, services, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to take off. It's been a weird day. I gotta go.
Yeah, I got to go too. So, well, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. See, hopefully Blab improves. I'm surprised to see you here.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go to Spreecast.
And I got that link. So how would I find you on Spreecast? If we finish up, let's finish up with Spreecast. I got the link. I put it here.
When you go into Spreecast, I think you can just hit the search button.
Have you seen anybody else around that we normally used to follow?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody's kind of going over. If I'm on Fire Talk as well or whatever. Some people are going over to Fire Talk. I don't like that necessarily. Fire Talk is not there yet for me because it's not like Blab. It doesn't allow for 4 people to come in and stuff like that. It only has 2. You can have 2 people at one time. Other than that, it's pretty cool. It's hard to discover people at Fire Talk, so I don't like that. There's people that Spreecast. I think Blab copied Spreecast, to be honest with you, because
they're their first, huh?
Yeah, Spreecast has been out for like 4 or 5 years, I think. So, and it has all the same features that Blab has, except the drop-ins. It's the only thing it's missing, and it shares more buttons. You got more share buttons, and you can do it for free.
And this realtor tech coach, you got 73 views, was good. You there?
Who? Which realtor tech coach? Oh, today?
Yeah, you have realtor tech coach. I'm just looking at its archive, 73 views.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 72. I see it, 72 views.
I'll have to go up and sign up for it. So how do you find you?
Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Yeah, I'll call you right back. Steve, I'll call you right back.
I'll go ahead and sign up. So do you sign up with your Twitter account?
I did. Yeah, I signed up with my Twitter account.
Okay.
Yeah, see 72 views on there. Well, heck, I didn't get 72 views in my Blab.
No.
And the picture quality is better. People can make it a big screen. You can post questions. You can put links in there. I mean, it's got all the same features plus some stuff. So I like Spreecast, man, and I'm doing the free version.
Mm-hmm. Been in business for a while.
And they allow for 4 blocks on here, just like this one does. So what I'm doing is I'm using Spreecast for free. I'm gonna give my secret out here, Bill. And then what I'm going to use is Screenomatic, right? You're probably familiar with that, I would imagine. You're not? Okay. Screenomatic is really cool because it allows you, when you're doing tutorials or stuff like that, you can capture, your screen, and it allows you to upload straight into YouTube. Screenomatic. It's $15 a month, or $15 a year. Excuse me.
Does it work with Macs?
I think so.
I have ways of screen capture.
Eileen, she's on Blabs all the time. She uses it.
Eileen would be good to talk to see what's going on Blab. She's probably the most knowledgeable.
Here's what's going on. From what I can gather, Blab is not paying attention to Blab right now. Blab is paying attention to Bevo, the app, which I heard yesterday that it's not doing so well. So they're just not committing any resources to Blab, which I say, well, okay, you're not committing resources, but before you left, could you have just left it in good shape so that I don't care if you're not adding anything to it. Blab was good enough the way it was, but you're not adding anything to it. I'm going to pause this recording here.